Hello and welcome to Just Ride Bikes. I'm David and this is a brand new top of the range Canyon Aeroad CFR. But why would you buy it? Well, you can buy this, the Aeroad CF SLX, which is pretty much the same bike for a lot less money.
In this video, we are putting Canyon's most expensive Aeroad CFR up against its much cheaper sibling, the CF SLX, in a head-to-head showdown. Does spending thousands more actually make you any faster, or are you just burning money? To find out, we'll dive into a real-world speed test and performance comparison. But first, let's break down the key differences between the two models so you can decide if the extra cash is really worth it.
So this Aeroad CFR is a top of the range bike with all the best kits and loads of carbon fibre components and costs nearly £10,000, while this is right at the other end of the range, the cheapest Aeroad CF SLX you can currently buy and costs just less than £4,000, yet it looks almost the same. Both bikes have the same frame in terms of shapes and profiles, the same one-piece carbon fibre handlebar and stem with a new gear groove, aero seat post, the same tyre clearance, and they both have a SRAM wireless group set with hydraulic disc brakes, and they both have deep section carbon wheels. So on the surface, they do look the same.
But underneath the paint, there's a key difference in the carbon fibre layout. Canyon describes the CFR as having a cutting-edge carbon layout, but doesn't expand on what that actually means. What it does mean is a lighter frame and fork on the scales for the CFR versus the CF SLX.
But really the big area where two bikes differ is in the components, the parts dressing each frame, and that accounts for a big difference on the scales. Now both bikes have a SRAM wireless group set, but on the Aeroad CF SLX we have the entry level and the heavier rival axis setup. It's a great group set in my experience. It works extremely well, it's reliable, and we have a nice low range of gears on the bike too, which definitely helps on the hills if you're not blessed with the fitness of Mattia van der Poel. But on the bike here, well, we have the brand new top of the range, lighter than ever before, red access group set, and it is very good indeed. We have the same 12-speed configuration though, but on this bike, as it's a racier setup, we have lower gears. So a smaller cassette and a bigger chain set for the high speeds. This bike is perhaps more likely to hit, depending on who's riding it, of course. The other big difference is in the wheels and tyres on both bikes, but mainly the wheels, because Canyon does a good job of speccing even its cheapest models with high quality tyres. So here we have a Continental GP 5000 STR tuber tyre, and here we have a Pirelli P0. Both really good tyres in my experience, low roll resistance, good grip in a dry and wet, and reasonably long lasting and reliable too. But the wheels are a big difference. Both carbon fibre and both deep section to maximise the aero potential of both bikes, but a big difference in terms of weight. These DT Swiss Arc 1600 wheels are a good quality wheel set, but these weigh about 1730 grams on the scale, so not exactly super lightweight. But these wheels though, well, these are definitely super lightweight. These are the top of the range Zip 454 NSW wheels, and they weigh 1,358 grams. They also have this very unique rim profile designed to optimize performance in terms of aerodynamics and crosswind stability, and look cool as hell. Another small difference which accounts for the extra increase in the price is the fact this bike has a dual-sided power meter, which is essential if you're racing and training at a high level, and usually costs anywhere up towards £1,000 on their own. This bike doesn't have a power meter, but you can upgrade to a power meter, a left-sided power meter with the rival group set if you want, for a few £100s.
So time for the scales of truth. Both bikes are the same size medium and weighed with no pedals, and the Aeroad CFR just over the UCI weight limit of 6.8 and compares well to other bikes in this category. Meanwhile, the CF SLX is just under 1 kilograms heavier, which is very impressive given a specification on this bike, and definitely room to make it lighter if you throw some money and upgrades at it.
And if you care about weight, you're weight weaning, that will make a big difference. But another £5,000, let's say about a kilo, how important is that to you? Let me know by dropping a comment down below. Today's video is proudly sponsored by Squarespace. If you want to build a new website, this all-in-one platform makes it dead simple. I love how easy starting a website with Squarespace is. And you can either start with one of the many cool templates and loads to choose from, or use Design Intelligence, which harnesses the power of AI to empower anyone to build a personalized and bespoke website. And building a personalized and bespoke website with Squarespace is so easy and simple that anybody can do it, no matter how tech savvy you are. If you need an online store to sell bikes and products, or you want to run online courses or sell digital products, you can do that easily. And with Squarespace payments, you can start receiving payments right away. Or you could start a newsletter, upload video content, run courses, sell merch, or just start blogging and sharing your views and photos in a nice online gallery. All that is super easy with Squarespace. So if you like the sound of that, there's a free trial you can start right now with a link down below in the description. And if you enjoy it, there's 10% off your first purchase of a domain or website with a code on screen right now. Right, back to the Canyon Aeroad comparison. Riding both bikes back to back should highlight the differences between them very nicely indeed. Both bikes, the same size medium, the same stack, same handlebar width. I ride in the hoods in the same position as much as I can control. And I'm aiming for an average speed of 31 kilometers per hour, about 250 watts average over the route. Slight climb to start with, descent to finish. Quite a strong cross headwind today, which you can't see on camera, but I can definitely feel. These wheels are jolly good in the crosswind, really very impressive. But they do cost almost as much as the entire Aeroad CF SLX at over £3,000 for the pair, which is just crazy money and hard to justify unless you've got unlimited funds. So fantastic on a hilly route, you love climbing, but also got that maximum aero potential on flatter roads. You really can feel that weight difference. These wheels are incredible. The bike has much more get up and go, much more sprightly and lively. Just an elevated ride experience compared to the heavier Aeroad. So we have the same handlebar on both bikes, adjustable width, gear groove in the middle, nice shape, but one key difference is the SRAM group set and these hoods.
And considering how much time you spend with your hands on a hood is a key difference between SRAM's most expensive and most affordable group set. The rival hoods are okay, but chunky and dumpy, while new road hoods are smaller, longer, and so much nicer by comparison. Granted, probably not worth the extra 5k, but hopefully in time, a rival will get the same improved ergonomics.
Right, onto a fast downhill stretch, smooth tarmac here. Quite a crosswind now, feeling it coming this way, but the bike's solid, straight line, not being moved around, and it feels really calm and just easy to handle. We still have that racy geometry, of course, with fast handling, but at high speed, 40 kilometers per hour or 25 miles per hour, thereabouts, it feels solid, planted. This Aeroad CFR is very impressive indeed. Definitely got the speed to match a tarmac or a Super 6 Evo, giant propel. Doesn't feel as lively as the tarmac perhaps, even though the weight is very similar. This feels stiffer, firmer than a tarmac, not as stiff as the Super 6 Evo, and smoother than the giant propel. And although the bike is nearly £10,000, the wheels on it are exceptionally good and better than what other bike brands will offer you at a similar price or more money. And comfort is very good too, partly thanks to the wheels and tyres, but also the fancy pants 3D printed saddle on this top of the range model. It's dealing with the bumps along here really well. Not much feedback through the hoods, through the saddle. Very calm and not jolting me around.
While both bikes have similar high quality top end tyres, there's one key difference in the size of the tyres. The CFR has 28mm wide tyres front and rear, while the cheaper CF SLX has a 25 front for improved aerodynamics and a wider 28 on the back for more comfort. And while that might improve aero a little bit, and we'll find out how much later, I would prefer having wide tyres front and rear for maximum comfort on the rough roads I have to ride on.
Okay, here we go. Ready, steady, go. This Aeroad CF SLX is by no means a cheap bike at all. It's still a lot of money, but it doesn't ride in a cheap way at all. The performance is just fantastic. It rides extremely well. It's fast, delivers bags of performance. Comfort is pretty good. Handling, easy to get on with. Nice and neutral, but definitely that faster steering and responsiveness you want from a race bike. On a slight drag into a headwind, which you can't see, the CF SLX doesn't feel quite as quick as the CFR. The CFR seemed to make lighter work of this hill than the CF SLX, but really splitting hairs, of course. And now a return loop, flat to start with, and then point downhill for a nice fast finish. Road surface a bit rougher here. Definitely get some feedback through the bike with the wheels and tyres. The CFR definitely tracked along here much more smoothly.
One unexpected difference between the two bikes is how they each handle rough roads and crosswinds. Both bikes do offer impressive comfort, especially considering how aero bikes have evolved over the past 15 years. However, the CFR does stand out for being noticeably smoother in my testing. The CF SLX exhibits more movement over bumps, which can feel a bit unsettling at times. The CFR also excels in stability, both at high speeds and in strong crosswinds, where the CF SLX steering does become more lively and a bit less predictable. But I'm really impressed with the performance of the cheaper Aeroad. Really doesn't give much away to the more expensive CFR. It still feels fast, feels involving and engaging, if a noticeable degree heavier and a bit more sluggish at times, especially on longer, steeper gradients where the lower weight of a CFR does come into its own.
I would not be unhappy owning this bike at all. I'm not too worried about the extra weight at all, but I do like the big saving on my bank balance. Right, time testing done, but before I share the results, a quick word on ride quality. And as you might expect, they both ride in a very similar manner. Similar handling, geometry, steering responsiveness, all that sort of stuff. But the lower weight of the CFR is definitely noticeable, not just on the scales, but in how it responds to your inputs. Just feels more lively and light between your legs, and when you're out the saddle climbing, the front end just feels more in tune with your movements on the bike. It just feels so much finer, so much nicer. But the lower weight of the CFR is definitely noticeable, not just on the scales, but in how it responds to your inputs. Just feels lighter when you're sprinting, when you're climbing. There's a better turn of speed. The CFR just has a bit more magic about it, a bit more enjoyment if you are somebody who likes to ride as fast as possible and extract as much as it can from their equipment and body. But the CF SLX has really impressed me on longer rides. The performance is just fantastic. And if you buy that bike and don't try a CFR, you'll be very happy indeed. It does deliver big smiles and big speed and lots of performance. If I could only afford the CF SLX, I'd still be very happy indeed. It's not a bad bike at all. It's a very, very good bike for the money and competes very well with other bikes in that price range or costing more. Right, testing done. Let's look at the results. First up, the CFR, and my average speed was 31.8 kilometers per hour with a time of 21 minutes and 25 seconds with a normalized power of 213 watts. That's the benchmark. Let's see how the Aeroad CF SLX does. Did an average speed of 31.9, but the normalized power was higher on the CF SLX at 227 watts versus the 213 of the CFR. So despite being the same speed and time, the CFR required less power, and that's quite a difference, quite a substantial difference in power between the two bikes.
One of the main takeaways from this testing is that, perhaps as expected, the wheels have a big impact on both the ride quality differences and the time against the clock. Granted, swapping wheels between the two bikes would be interesting, the expensive wheels on a cheaper bike, but I was keen to test each bike as it is sold. It does help illustrate the importance of investing in good quality wheels, and also point to how good a mid-range frame is compared to a more expensive top-of-the-range frame.
So what have we learned? Well, that a more expensive bike in this example does mean a bike you can ride faster for less energy and less power. No big surprise really, but the differences were quite interesting to see between the two bikes. So if you have the money, the CFR is an amazing package and still good value despite being very expensive. But the CF SLX for half the price, absolute bargain. And in the end, both of the bikes are amazing performance, and shows how far aero bikes have come. Fast, smooth, great handling and decent comfort as well, and they look fantastic too, in my opinion. Even the cheaper bike looks amazing as well, especially in that white, very pristine indeed. But if you're the sort of person who wants the best performance, to extract the best performance from your bike and body, the CFR, if you have money, it's the one to go for. But if you can only afford the CF SLX, and that's as far as your budget goes, well, you won't be disappointed at all. You won't feel shortchanged riding a bike at all. And if I owned a bike, I'd be very, very happy indeed. So let me know in the comments which bike you would choose. CFR, CF SLX, drop a comment down below. And if you want to see a full review on the CFR, you watch that video right there. And of course, if you want more reviews like this on a regular basis, then hit that subscribe button right there. But I'm off for one more lap on the CF SLX. I'll see you again very soon.